Welcome to Obi-Wan Studios, and today I will be ranking every LEGO Star Wars set from what I think is the worst set of the year to the best set of the year in a new series on the channel I'm calling LEGO Star Wars Ranked. In this new series, I will not be discussing polybags, sets like the Advent Calendar, or anything that's a regional exclusive promotional set either. We're going to really be talking about just the main set releases of the year, but I will be discussing Brickheadz in this series because I feel like in a lot of lists that get made throughout the year talking about the best sets of the year, the Brickheadz deserve to be included in those lists and in that discussion. So I will be adding in both Brickheadz set releases of the year, as well as the two promotional sets that we saw as well. So in total, we have 31 sets that I will be ranking for 2024, and let's get into it with the worst set of the year, in my opinion, of course. So number 31, what I think is easily the worst set of 2024, the 75392 Creative Play Droid Builder. This is a set that I just honestly feel like should have never have been made. I just think the concept is super dumb, and for the price point of $100 as well, it's very expensive for what you are getting. I get that it's aimed more at kids, but I feel like kids will just pick it up once or twice and then get bored of it. Plus, the droids just don't look that good on display too. And I think that LEGO actually realized that this set was just a very dumb concept, but they had already committed to it, so that's why they threw in the 25th anniversary Young Leia minifigure, so that it would guarantee the set would sell decently to collectors as well, because they want to complete all of the 25th anniversary minifigs. That's exactly what I did. I went out, bought the set on release day, grabbed the Young Leia minifig out of the box, and then threw it up in my storage. I didn't plan on reviewing it or anything because I thought the set was just super dumb and wanted to review cooler sets on the channel instead of that one taking up a spot. So yeah, quite easily a set that just should have never been made in my opinion. So many cooler sets that could have been made at that $100 price point that we could have seen released for the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars. Number 30 is the 75384, the Crimson Firehawk. As we are just accustomed to at this point, basically, we have another overpriced 4+ set, this time being at $50. This set, it just, I don't know, it's a 4+ set. No one really cares about it in the adult LEGO fan community, which obviously I am a part of, and just in general, the set just is not worth $50. It's you just look at it. It's not worth $50. Sure, getting Nubs is a pretty cool minifig, and if you want to kind of collect all the LEGO Star Wars minifigs, I can see adding him to your collection being something you'd want to do, but at the price point especially, it's just not worth it, and the set's design overall is just what you'd expect out of a 4+ set. It's not that great, so easily the second worst set of the year in my opinion. Number 29 is the 75390 Luke Skywalker X-Wing mech. Now, I'm just not a big fan of mech sets at all, but I definitely do appreciate the fact that you can get great minifigs out of them at a lower price point for a set. The main thing about this one though is it's not the best pilot Luke Skywalker minifig that you can get. That's in the UCS X-Wing set. This one is just a bit of a worse version. So the fact that you don't get the best one that LEGO currently makes is a bit disappointing with this mech. That's something you'd kind of expect to get out of it. The actual mech build is pretty good, but like I said, I'm just not a big fan of mechs, and I think that they could have done a different set concept to get minifigs out there at a lower price point, so that's why this set is so low on the list. At number 28, we have one of the most controversial set releases of the year, the 75391 Captain Rex's Y-Wing Microfighter. This set caused such an uproar in the LEGO Star Wars community when it was revealed that you'd be getting the exact same Captain Rex minifig that you got in the UCS Venator in a Microfighter. But that's really not why this set is so low on my list. It's just a Microfighter, and in general, I don't think they are ever that great of sets. You mainly purchase them for the minifig that you get at a lower price point. Now, the Captain Rex, I think, is pretty good overall. I know the community has some complaints of the helmet holes and the warts. I can look past it. I've accepted that that's just the way clone troopers are currently. Do I think it looks the best? No, but it doesn't, make them absolutely terrible in my opinion. As well, the kind of ammo pack that's on his chest, is it a bit oversized? Sure, but watching Ahsoka and seeing Captain Rex in live action, it's made me kind of come around on how that looks a little bit more. I definitely think for an Ultimate Collector Series minifig, which Rex was designed for, the designers just have to pay a little bit more attention to those details, and they really should. And when it comes to that Microfighter build as well, for a Y-Wing, it's pretty much as perfect as you could expect it to be. My real main kind of issue with this set is the fact that I don't want a Captain Rex's Y-Wing Microfighter. I want a Captain Rex's Y-Wing Playscale set. I think that would be so amazing, or you know what, honestly, better yet, A UCS Captain Rex's Y-Wing I think would look absolutely incredible. And hey, we could have even had that playscale set take the place of that stupid Creative Play droid builder set for that $100 price point. And that would have been such a cooler 25th anniversary set over that droid play builder set. So yeah, this set really, I think LEGO knows people wants it, but they just made it in a Microfighter instead of a set that actually would be cool. At number 27, I have what might be a surprisingly low entry for some people, the 75393 TIE Fighter and X-Wing mashup. This set, it's cool to get a TIE Fighter and X-Wing in a combo pack, but we just had a TIE Fighter playscale build and an X-Wing playscale build as well that retired just before this set came out. And I think the two that we get in this set are worse than those last two, so that's not a very good thing. And the functionality of swapping the wings on the cockpits between the X-Wing and TIE Fighter is just certainly very gimmicky. I think kids will have fun with it, but again, I don't think it's a play feature that's going to really stand the test of time. And the minifigs as well are pretty forgettable, and the whole Rebuild the Galaxy theme, I just think in general is going to be one that not a lot of people care about 6 months to a year from now. Combine that with the fact that the set costs $110, which I just think is too much money for what you're getting in a set like this. This set, in my opinion, isn't that great, and it's certainly one that's not for me. At number 26, we have our very first Brickheadz set, the 40675 Clone Commander Cody. I absolutely love this little Brickheadz version of Commander Cody. I think he looks so good as just a little standalone display piece for Revenge of the Sith. I think it really works. The design for Brickheadz doesn't always translate that well, but I think it works really well with the design that LEGO went with for this one. Plus, they have the little hologram for Palpatine telling him to execute Order 66. So technically, it's an Order 66 set, which you don't get a lot of in LEGO Star Wars. Here's hoping we get one or two next year in 2025 for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. But overall, I think this Clone Commander Cody was executed really well, and it's just a great little Brickheadz build. Number 25 is the 75378 Bark Speeder Escape. What do you know? We have two Order 66 sets back to back. This set, I think, is pretty great in terms of the concept. Keller and Beck's minifig is fantastic. I think one of my favorite minifigs to release all year, and the Bark Speeder as well in terms of design was really well done. They had to tweak the sidecar a little bit to actually fit Grogu's pram, but overall I think it looks really sharp, and then getting two 501st Clone Troopers as bad guys is pretty fun to get out of a LEGO Star Wars set. My biggest issue with this set is the price of it though. I think $30 is way too much for this set, and I think LEGO really tried to justify that price point they had in mind with adding that little lamppost piece of the Jedi Temple. A lot of people have joked about this lamppost, but for good reason. It's kind of ridiculous that you get such a lame little build to add in just some sort of scenery to really justify the price of the set. I think that's just something, when LEGO ever thinks that way, the set's never going to be that good because you're just getting throw-ins at that point to justify the cost. So this set really suffers from it in my opinion, and I just can't justify placing it any higher. At number 24, we have the 75380 Mos Espa Pod Race Diorama. For an $80 price point, I just think LEGO could have done a better job overall with this diorama set. You basically get a wall of sand and then two little pod racer microfighter builds. There's just not that much value there when it comes to this set, especially for the price point. I definitely think this is one of many overpriced sets that were released in 2024. The overall scene that the diorama was trying to capture as well, I don't think is the best one that the designers could have chosen. And then the arch at the very back of the diorama as well isn't actually wide enough for Sebulba's pod racer to have flown through it. And once you see that, you really can't unsee it every time you look at it. I still have it in my display cabinet beside me because I do think overall it's fun just to look at and actually see Qui-Gon's quote at the bottom and just remember that scene from the movie. But at the price point, I think the designers could have easily have done a better job and picked a bit more of a better looking scene as well. The actual two pod racer builds I don't think look too bad. They're actually pretty decent, but overall this is just a bit of an overpriced and disappointing set. At number 23, we have the 75396 Desert Skiff and Sarlacc Pit. This is another set that retails for $80, and in my opinion, the value just simply is not there for $80. I feel like LEGO almost started off with the $80 price point first because they knew this set would sell to go along with the Ultimate Collector Series Jabba Sail Barge, and then they worked their way back from that price point, and the result just wasn't executed perfectly at all for that price point. Sure, the Sarlacc Pit and Desert Skiff builds are the two best versions of each of those that we've ever gotten. They are truly fantastic. But that's honestly the reason why the set is even as high up on my list as it actually is, because the builds are so good. However, my one other major issue with this set is the fact that they reused the Empire Strikes Back version of Boba Fett that we've been getting for a while now in this set, which isn't the same as the one we see of Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi. It's a different version. So had LEGO have given us the Return of the Jedi version of Boba Fett, a brand new version, I would have been a little bit less harsh maybe on the set and its price, but the fact that then they charge an outrageous price for a set that then they reuse a minifig that's just plainly inaccurate, that's just unacceptable in my opinion and really makes the set not that good. But the builds are truly fantastic, plus 9nub as well, one of the best Star Wars 25th anniversary minifigs to release this year, kind of saves it and leaves it at number 23. At number 22, we have the 75383 Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator. When I first heard the rumor that we were getting yet another Sith Infiltrator, I kind of thought, okay, this is a bit of a boring and safe choice, and in order for the set to be truly great, it needs to be a home run across the board in terms of the actual build, the minifigs, and then the price point and value as well. And the set just wasn't there in terms of being great in all three areas, to be honest. I think it kind of fails in all three of those. The build isn't that great. I don't think it's the best Sith Infiltrator that we've ever gotten in terms of its design. It's a bit downsized too, which is to be expected, but it still doesn't look that great in terms of the proportions. And then the price point as well, I don't think the value is there. $70 for 3 minifigs. I think we really needed at least one more for that to be a bit better. Maybe a Captain Panaka or Padme Amidala, something just to add a little bit more value to the set. And then the minifigs themselves, I don't think are that great either. Young Anakin Skywalker is the best one in my opinion, and that's not saying much. The Qui-Gon Jinn, his tan robes on the brown legs are misprinted. They look more gray and they don't match the torso, which is false advertised by LEGO on the box and on the website to actually looking accurate. So to me, that Qui-Gon Jinn is an absolute fail. I made a whole video ranting about that, to be honest. That's how much I really hate the fact that LEGO can't get that detail right and then advertises it as being good and looking as it should. And then Darth Maul has no pupils. LEGO actually just going and changing their design language to making a bunch of different characters not have pupils is probably one of the dumbest decisions that they could have made in my opinion. I just don't get how anyone thinks that could look good, and we're going to talk about it a little bit more in this video. But yeah, Darth Maul isn't that great either. So overall, this set is a bit of a flop in my opinion. And I know I've been pretty harsh on the Sith Infiltrator set, but I still think overall it's better than the sets that I listed before it. If you don't own a Sith Infiltrator, it's definitely a set worth picking up. It's just not executed as good as it should have been in my opinion, but overall it's not a terrible set, but I definitely have my issues with it. Now let's move on to number 21. At number 21, we have the 75386 Paz Vizsla and Moff Gideon battle. This is a set overall that I really do like. I think for the entire scene with Paz Vizsla's last stand, it's pretty cool to get a set kind of honoring that character. And for it being kind of a platform built into the wall of Mandalore, they did a pretty good job in terms of the overall design. I think the door mechanism and everything works really well. I really love the sticker detail as well, showing Moff Gideon's old light cruiser kind of hovering above Mandalore, giving them all a warning that the Mandalorians were coming to attack them pretty much and discover the base. Overall, I think the one kind of thing holding this set back from being as good as it could have been is the fact that you only get 2 Praetorian guards when there are in fact 3, and you get the third one in the advent calendar, giving you a lot more of a reason to actually go out and buy the advent calendar. So in my opinion, I think that was kind of, a bit cheeky on LEGO's end to do that, and we should have just gotten all 3 within this set. Otherwise, the minifigs I think are all really great, especially that Season 3 Moff Gideon. That helmet mold is really nice. He looks so good. So just, a little bit missing from the set in terms of getting that third minifig for the Praetorian Guards. Otherwise, overall, pretty solid. Moving on to number 20, we have the 40676, the Phantom Menace Brickheadz. This Brickheadz pack, I think, was executed perfectly in terms of the characters that you get for episode 1. It just works so well, and all of them are really great Brickheadz build, especially the Queen Amidala and Darth Maul ones. Those two look fantastic, and I think are probably the 2 best LEGO Star Wars Brickheadz ever made, in my opinion. This set was just executed so well. The price point, too, really works for what you're actually getting. I think LEGO was just, that is a fair price point for what you are getting with this set. But overall, it is a Brickheadz set pack, and I just couldn't justify it being higher up than any of the other sets that are on the list. But overall, I think this is a no-brainer if you're a fan of the Phantom Menace and want to add some really great characters to your LEGO Star Wars collection. This set is a no-brainer buy in my opinion. At number 19, we have the 75387 boarding the Tantive IV. For a hallway-style playset, I think overall the execution was done very well with this set. The hallway has some great play features. I especially love how the door can slide open with some fire around it for Darth Vader to walk through. That is really cool. And then the actual hallway's design looks really nice too. It's accurate to what we see in the movie as well for the interior of the Tantive IV. And then when you place all of the minifigs inside to recreate the scene, it looks pretty good as a display piece as well. Sure, the minifigs aren't quite perfect. You can certainly argue that having dual molded legs would have made the fleet troopers better, and I think that it would have. The stormtroopers as well, the helmet design, that Family Guy style of stormtrooper helmets isn't my favorite, but I've come to accept it and I can live with that. For me personally, the biggest letdown with the minifigs is the 25th anniversary ARC Trooper 5s. And I'm not even talking about the helmet holes and warts on the sides of the helmet. I expected that that was going to be the case, and I can live with that being just this time of clone troopers, and I'll look forward to when it changes back to not looking kind of as wonky, but my biggest issue is just the printing on the helmet. It looks nothing like 5's helmet does. I am sorry. I cannot see how anyone can say that it looks remotely good. It looks terrible in my opinion, and just the biggest disappointment in my opinion for ARC Trooper 5s. We were finally getting them in a minifig form, and LEGO just absolutely blew it on this one. I would have rather have not gotten him, to be honest, in this version. I just think that helmet looks terrible, so that's the biggest letdown when it comes to the set. But that ARC Trooper 5's minifig aside, it's overall a very strong set. At number 18, I have what is probably going to be a controversial placement for this set even being so high on my list, the 75385 Ahsoka Tano's Duel on Peridea. This is a set that I personally don't feel like is as bad as a lot of people say it is. A lot of the flack for the set came with the actual build that you get, where it's just kind of a built gray flat platform and then a couple of black towers. But what else could LEGO have done in terms of designing the scene for this set? It's accurate. That's what you see in the show. So in reality, I think the actual design of the build works, and it's, it looks pretty good overall, especially when you place all of the minifigs on it, kind of creating the scene. My main issue with this set is the fact that all of the gold details on the floor and the towers are stickers. It was a massive pain to make sure you line them up all properly. If you don't, this set's going to look terrible. So the fact that they weren't printed, and they would have been really easy pieces to have actually printed, because there's not that many actual different designs in terms of what actual different prints they would have had to have made. For $55, I think they really just should have gone the extra mile and made sure that the set looks good for everyone who purchased it, because if you don't put those stickers on there that well, it's just going to look bad. The minifigs, I think, are pretty good overall. I really like the Morgan Elsbeth. I really like the Ahsoka Tano. Ezra Bridger without pupils definitely looks like he's blind, so that minifig isn't that great in my opinion. Then you have Grand Admiral Thrawn, who overall is a massive improvement from the last Grand Admiral Thrawn that we got. Overall, a way better version. The one thing they have really no excuse for getting wrong is the fact that they got the wrong number of code cylinders for him, one on each side when it should be two, and that's a detail that was accurate in the last version of him. So a bit of a let down, and just kind of, in my opinion, kind of classic LEGO Star Wars. They, make all these great improvements and then just make a silly mistake in terms of accuracy that they just should have gotten right. So kind of a classic move on their part. And then the Night Trooper as well, I think looks pretty good overall. At first when I saw him, I thought he looked really bad, but in hand, I have come around to actually liking that character. I think for $55, maybe just one more Night Trooper would have provided a bit more value to the set and made it a little bit better. Number 17 is the 75373 Ambush on Mandalore Battle Pack. This, I think, overall is a pretty great battle pack. The 4 minifigs that are included in it are just fantastic, especially those Imperial Commandos. They look so cool and were executed, I think, pretty much perfectly. Getting the Night Owl and Mandalorian Warrior as well makes for 2 other characters that would be really great for army building as well. Although it is from The Mandalorian Season 3, so the amount of people who would actually want to army build those characters probably isn't as high, of course, as a Clone Trooper or even original trilogy set would be too. The build in this battle pack is kind of why I've placed it as low as I have, even though the minifigs I think are all fantastic. It's kind of that rubble kind of wall part of the inside of Mandalore, and it's great kind of for the context of what it's trying to be, but in terms of kind of army building and getting multiples of them, it's definitely not the best build and the funnest kind of thing to have multiples of. I do like, however, how it's intended to actually be connected to the Paz Vizsla and Moff Gideon battle set to recreate a larger version of the scene. So that definitely is a bonus and makes this set, really great in combination with that Paz Vizsla battle. But overall, the build just isn't the best for getting multiples of. You'd have to get pretty creative in order to make it kind of look good or really worth your while to have multiples of. But the minifigs really just are truly fantastic in this battle pack. Number 16 is the 75372 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack, and it really pains me to place this set kind of in the middle of the pack in terms of the sets that were released in 2024, but I just can't justify placing it any higher on my list because of one reason. This is kind of a 2-in-1 battle pack which recreates the original Clone Trooper and Battle Droid battle packs ever made. But in execution, it feels very lopsided because the Separatist half, the Battle Droid half, is fantastic, but then the Clone Trooper half just feels unfinished and it's just a bit of a letdown as well. Now, the Separatist half, we get brand new Super Battle Droid molds. They are fantastic. The best Super Battle Droids we have ever gotten by far. A lot more accurate. They look better too. They just really did a great job on those. They are a 10 out of 10 minifig or droid. And then the builds too, you have the Octoptera Tri-Droid, which is fantastic, and then the staff as well. It all looks really great. It's just really easily army buildable and something you'd want to army build quite a few of in terms of the Battle Droid half. But then when it comes to the Clone Trooper half, okay, sure, we get the Clone Troopers with the helmet holes again, which isn't a lot of people's favorite design, but again, that's just the reality of what we have for Clone Troopers right now. That's what we're getting. So moving on from that aspect of it, what I really just don't like about the Clone Trooper half is the builds. I think they're pretty lame and just unfinished. Their designs just aren't that great. I think the speeder is pretty bad, if I'm being honest. It just feels unfinished to me. Like there's not enough to the speeder to actually make it work. And then the little turret build as well, I just feel like is kind of lame. So we have one half of the build being the Battle Droid half, which is absolutely fantastic, 10 out of 10. Then the Clone Trooper half, it just feels unfinished and there's not enough actual substance there to make it really feel like it's worth army building. So it's such a shame because this set had so much potential to be absolutely fantastic. Number 15 is the 75388 Jedi Bob Starfighter based on Rebuild the Galaxy. Now, Jedi Bob returning in 2024 is such an iconic moment. There was so much hype behind it. We are all going to look back on this as such a cool moment in LEGO Star Wars' history in years to come. I am very sure of that. However, this set, in terms of its actual execution, I don't think it's super good, if I'm being honest. It's not bad, but it's not absolutely fantastic either. Now, the Jedi Bob minifig, his design is basically to take the original's design and make it look like he's just been beaten up, like he's an old used toy. And that's just not my favorite way they could have brought in Jedi Bob back. I think just making a nice looking modernized version of the character would have been so much better. So while getting Jedi Bob again is nice, I don't think this is that good of a version of him, if I'm being honest. I way more prefer the original version that I have. The other two characters in the set, being the Akbar Trooper and Servo, are two very forgettable characters that I think 6 months, year from now, we're just all going to forget about and really not care about. So they're kind of whatever, in my opinion. The saving part of this set for me is the Jedi Starfighter build because it is absolutely incredible. It's one of the best Jedi Starfighter builds that we've gotten in years, in my opinion. The design looks so great. I love the color scheme and just the way the wings and everything all look. The yellow thrust as well for the hyperdrive and the main engines. Just such a nice color contrast with the color palette of this Jedi Starfighter. And I absolutely love how it takes a lot of design inspiration from Anakin's custom Jedi Starfighter, which is a comparison video I have made on the channel, by the way. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out after you're done watching this one. But overall, the build I think was just nailed. It's a 10 out of 10 Jedi Starfighter build in my opinion. But the biggest problem with this set for me is the price. It's $40. Now, we take and compare Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, which is based on Episode 2. It has Obi-Wan, Tantive for a Kaminoan minifig, which we've never gotten before, and then R4. So 3 characters as well, and a really good Jedi Starfighter build too. And Jedi Bob Starfighter only has 23 more pieces, but costs $10 more. Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter is only 30. So where is that $10 increase in value with Jedi Bob Starfighter? It really just feels like a Jedi Bob tax was placed on this set because LEGO kind of felt like everyone would go crazy and buy this set, so let's just charge $10 more because we can. Because I don't see any additional value with this set, so it is really overpriced, and that is also such a shame. So combine the fact that Jedi Bob I don't think is actually that great, and the set is very overpriced, it lands at number 15. Now we're going to be discussing the 3 Starship Collection sets that released this year. Overall, I feel like they are pretty solid. Obviously, I think they are better than the sets that have come before them on the list, but I don't think they are better than any of kind of our final kind of getting near the top 10 for these sets of the year. I don't think any of them quite crack that top 10 for me, at least personally. But number 14 is the 75376 Tantive IV. The Tantive IV has always just felt like a bit of a safe choice in my opinion. It was one that I feel like LEGO was kind of guaranteed to have made, so I'm just kind of happy that we've gotten it now. It's been made, and we're going to have it retire soon and hopefully save that spot in the Starship Collection for a really cool and more unique set in the future. Overall, the build doesn't look too bad. There's some kind of proportion issues I have with it, especially around the cockpit. It just doesn't look super good there, but overall, it's a fine build and kind of the worst out of the 3 Starship Collection sets, in my opinion. Number 13 is the 75375 Millennium Falcon. This is another set, in my opinion, that just was a bit of a safe choice to have been made this year. But of course, LEGO was always going to also make a kind of Starship Collection version of the Millennium Falcon, and they did a pretty great job with it overall. I think it's pretty much as perfect as it could be. The design looks really good. I love all the different pieces that help kind of make the texture of the Millennium Falcon's kind of hull as well. Overall, a pretty solid looking Starship Collection set, but just kind of a bit of a boring choice in my opinion. Number 12 is the 75377 Invisible Hand. This choice was kind of out of left field, I felt like, for the Starship Collection because the other 2 were such safe original trilogy choices, and then we got the Invisible Hand for a Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith set. I just did not expect that at all, to get some prequel love for a set like this, but it is awesome. The fact that we even just have the Invisible Hand in some sort of LEGO form is just so sweet. The design of it, I think, was really nailed. It looks so good, and it's easily a must-have set in my opinion for any Revenge of the Sith fan. And the price point too, it's the cheapest out of the 3 Starship Collection sets at $50. It just works, it feels right, and in my opinion, it's the best Starship Collection set that was released this year, and it's the cheapest too, so that is just awesome. The last detail that I love about the Invisible Hand is the fact that you actually place studs inside of the build in the hangar for Obi-Wan and Anakin's Jedi Starfighters, and then the brown MTT as well. It's just such great little details that are added in there, and then you can pull the ship apart and kind of recreate it actually breaking in half like it does in the movie. It's a fun and unnecessary play feature that was added in there, but it's certainly a detail that I just appreciate. So overall, I think the execution for the Invisible Hand was pretty much perfect. At number 11, we have the 40755 Imperial Dropship vs. Rebel Scout Speeder Battle Pack. This 2-in-1 battle pack recreates and modernizes the 2 original trilogy battle packs we saw released in 2008. And overall, I think it does a fairly good job of that modernization and staying true to the original battle packs kind of intentions and the overall spirit of them. However, there are certainly a few things with this battle pack that keep it from being out of my personal top 10. The number 1 complaint with this battle pack was the fact that the originals each had 4 minifigs, where this one has only effectively 3 for the Imperials and 3 for the Rebels. But what I think is even worse is the fact that one of the Rebel Fleet Troopers reuses Captain Antilles' face print. So in reality, in my mind, you're only getting 2 Fleet Troopers in this battle pack, and I think LEGO almost kind of tried to sneak in that reuse of Captain Antilles' face print without having to redesign maybe a new one for this battle pack. But effectively, you're still getting Captain Antilles in this battle pack. In my mind, he's just wearing regular Fleet Trooper clothes. So I only feel like you only get 2 Fleet Troopers in this battle pack, which certainly is a fail in terms of the minifigs for the Rebel side, in my opinion. When it comes to the Imperials getting 3 Stormtroopers, they're fine, as you've come to expect. expect with these stormtroopers. Getting a shadow trooper though, like the original, would have been just absolutely amazing, I have to admit. Now, the builds are what really saves this battle pack in my opinion, because we get one less minifig on each side, but the builds are fantastic. They're bulkier, they're more built out than the originals, and I think overall, both that dropship and scout speeder are absolutely fantastic. They're builds that would be so great to actually army build with. They are just the definition in my mind of good battle pack builds. Lastly, the set comes with the 25th anniversary minifig QT-KT, and it's fine. It's not the best 25th anniversary minifig I think that we could have ever gotten, but of course, kind of the story behind R2-KT and therefore QT-KT as well is pretty touching. I just really wish she got back printing. It's a 25th anniversary minifig. It should have gotten back printing for an astromech droid. Overall, a decent battle pack at $40. It's just, a few things that are just lacking in this to make it truly a great set. Cracking the top 10 is the 75374, the Onyx Cinder. This is a set that we've been waiting to get for so long, and as the Skeleton Crew kept getting delayed, it felt like it was never actually going to be released, and then we finally got it kind of near the end of 2024. Overall, I think the build is really awesome. It's got some great play features. It's very, uniquely designed, and it just looks really nice too. Overall, it's certainly a fun ship, and I think depending on the Skeleton Crew and how accurate it actually ends up being to the source material will really dictate just if this set is truly as good as we all kind of think it is. Same goes with the minifigs. I think the selection is really great, and based on everything we can kind of see and know, they all look fairly accurate and are pretty fun as well. Just kind of will depend. If the Skeleton Crew is a good show, then this set will kind of stay being a really great set, I feel like. And if the Skeleton Crew is kind of not that great, it will probably affect a lot of people's perspective on this set. At both number 9 and number 8 on my list, I have the two promotional set releases of 2024. Now, for some people, it might not be fair that I'm placing promotional sets in the top 10 for sets for 2024, but just because they are promotional sets, in my opinion, doesn't mean they deserve to be penalized when they are both truly great sets and really embody what I think a promotional set should actually be. So at number 9, I have the 40686 Trade Federation Troop Carrier, a very, very incredible remake of the original 7126 Battle Droid Troop Carrier set. To mark the 25th anniversary of both LEGO Star Wars and The Phantom Menace, getting a May 4th promotional set based on Episode 1 I think was totally the right move from LEGO, and to recreate one of their original Phantom Menace sets I think was such a clever idea. It's such a faithful remake. There are so many little nods to the original's design, but it is also such a nice modern just reimagine of that set's design without going too, overboard in terms of tweaking it from the inspiration that kind of the original has. I absolutely love this set. The only bad thing about it is that you can't buy multiples of them to army build just from LEGO. It's absolutely brilliant, in my opinion, a home run of a promotional set. But what I think is the better promotional set of 2024 is the 40730, Luke Skywalker's lightsaber based on his lightsaber from Return of the Jedi. This set is so cool. I love all of the lightsaber sets in general, and I think that if LEGO actually made a subline for LEGO Star Wars just for lightsaber hilts, it would sell so brilliantly well. They make such great display pieces, and this one is no exception. It's very accurate too to what Luke Skywalker's lightsaber actually looks like. The attention to detail is there. The one thing I just don't like about this set is the fact that it says Return of the Jedi right on the display plaque. It just doesn't look that great if you place it next to any of the other lightsaber hilts because they don't say what movie they are kind of based on or anything like that. So it just looks a little odd, and I feel like they should have just left it off and let people just, either assume or be told from the owner maybe of what, movie it was from. It just doesn't look the best in my opinion, but it is such a minor thing. This lightsaber build is so cool. It's just a shame that LEGO seems to have made very few of them because it sold out rather quickly. Like it was gone by the afternoon of release day for the Ultimate Collector Series Jabba Sail Barge. So it is quite a rare set, if it feels like, but doesn't mean it's bad by any means. Moving along to number 7, we have the 75389, the Dark Falcon, the last set on my list that's based on Rebuild the Galaxy. Now, for most people, I feel like you'll either feel strongly one way or the other about the set. Either you'll really like it or you'll really hate it. And when I first heard of the set, I thought I honestly wouldn't like it at all, but seeing it actually in person and seeing the execution of it, I think it's pretty fantastic. And the fact that we get a dark side version of the Millennium Falcon is just so cool and so out of left field. I just like the concept a lot, to be honest, and think it's just something that's very unique for LEGO Star Wars. I definitely wouldn't want to see it done to a ton of sets and taking up other spots of just regular sets based on the actual kind of canonical like things with Star Wars, but this is certainly a cool kind of one-off thing that we've gotten. The overall build for the Millennium Falcon, the dark version of it, I think is really great. The color scheme looks super good too, done in all black with the red details, especially with the cockpit. It's just a really good Millennium Falcon build, just not in the color scheme you'd normally expect. And then the minifigs as well, I think are all pretty fantastic. The Redeemed Jedi Vader especially, that is such an incredible minifig and a very special one in my opinion. Certainly a highlight among the minifigs of 2024. Honestly, Darth Jar Jar Binks 2 is pretty sweet. Overall, all of the minifigs were done really well. The only one that I think looks a little off is the Darth Rey, because she has no pupils. It just looks a little weird to me, but even as someone who's honestly, I'll be transparent, not a sequel fan at all, I still think the Darth Rey minifig is pretty cool, actually. Maybe C-3PO, the Bounty Hunter version, could have gotten the dual molded legs to make him just absolutely perfect, but for the most part, the minifigs were executed really well too, and at the $180 price point too, I think it's very reasonable. I think there's the value there for that retail price point. It's just overall a very cool and unique set for 2024. At number 6, and just missing out of my top 5, is the 75398 C-3PO. I didn't expect to love this build as much as I do. I think it looks so great on display. I think the design really captures what C-3PO looks like. I love the use of these stickers on there to get the wires kind of going all the way around his body as well. And then the gold contrast with his silver leg as well looks very, very sharp. Overall, the build is so good. The one little thing about this set that I don't like is the kind of sand use on the display base for C-3PO. He had to have a base so he could actually stand properly and be sturdy. That I absolutely get. But just compared to all of the other buildable characters that we've gotten throughout the years and kind of the Ultimate Collector Series stand vibe, getting a different color for the base, I just don't really like. It looks cool, sure, that it looks like he's standing on the sand dunes of Tatooine, but it just doesn't fit the overall theme in my opinion and would have looked so much better just being done in all black. All right, now as we are going to get into my personal top 5 LEGO Star Wars sets of 2024, let me know in the comments down below what your top 5 is, and I'd be curious to see how well yours actually lines up with my own top 5. But starting off at number 5, we have the 75397 Ultimate Collector Series Jabba's Sail Barge. This is a set that had so much potential to be just number 1, easily the best LEGO Star Wars set of the year, but it really lets us down in one aspect, and that is the minifigs. Unfortunately, I really just do not feel like the minifigs live up to the overall essence of what the Ultimate Collector Series should be. I feel like we should get that quality in every part of an Ultimate Collector Series set for the money, and for $500, this set is a bit of a letdown. I do not like Salacious B. Crumb. He has no pupils for his eyes. He just looks unfinished to me. That decision, again, like I already mentioned, really weird. I just don't get the logic at all. Then we have Bib Fortuna, and his headpiece is a direct reuse from the Book of Boba Fett version of Jabba's Palace that we saw a couple of years back. So it's based on an inaccurate version of the character for Return of the Jedi. It's an Ultimate Collector Series set. For $500, we should have gotten a completely new mold for Bib Fortuna's head. That's just unacceptable, in my opinion. Then we have Princess Leia in her Slave Leia outfit. Just getting Slave Leia is for sure awesome and a really great thing, and I definitely understand that LEGO was probably strong-armed by Disney in having to change the way Princess Leia was actually designed in order for her to be built at all, but a simple solution for making her look better than she does, because let's be honest, it just looks like she is wearing swimming shorts or shorts with the dual molded legs, would have been to do what LEGO has done for a few different other minifigs and do some side leg printing just to make the actual kind of outfit break a little bit more and just look a tiny bit more accurate. For a set like this, it's something that I think LEGO could have easily and should have done to make her look a lot better. But the worst part about this set by a mile in my opinion, and what I personally think is just a slap in the face to the fans for spending this kind of money from LEGO, is the C-3PO. There is nothing, really wrong with him, besides the fact that he's not the actual best version of C-3PO that LEGO currently makes. You do not get that version in a $500 Ultimate Collector Series set. You get him in the cheaper buildable C-3PO character build that I just mentioned for number 6, but you don't get him in a $500 Ultimate Collector Series set. I would love for LEGO to actually come out and explain why they didn't provide a minifig that they already make that's better than this one in the kind of epitome of what a LEGO Star Wars set can be. So for that reason really alone, I cannot put this set as the best set of the year. It's just not because of that reason. The only reason why it's still within the top 5 for me personally is the fact that the build is so good. It is utterly brilliant in terms of the design of the exterior, the proportions of the build, all of the little details of it, and then the fully designed interior from the very front cockpit for Jabba's sail barge. It's the first sail barge that we've ever gotten an actual cockpit incorporated into the interior, all the way to the back with Max Rebo's jet ball organ. It's so great. It's so well thought of. It's so well designed. It's just a shame that the minifigs weren't as well. Number 4 is the 75381 Droideka. This might be a bit of a high placement for some people, but I'm just going to throw it out there. It might be one of the best builds of 2024, and that's why it's number 4 on my list. I think when you think of a buildable Droideka, it's perfect. I don't think there's really anything more that LEGO could have done to actually make the build represent what a Droideka looks like better than this. It even can roll up into a ball still in this form, which is an unnecessary feature, but it's so great that that's incorporated in there too. And when I personally think of a 25 years of LEGO Star Wars set, that's also, of course, the 25th anniversary of The Phantom Menace, this is the ultimate set right here. And for me personally, it's probably my favorite set of 2024. I just don't think it's the best set out of the year, just trying to be as kind of, objective as I possibly can be. The only thing about the set that just doesn't make it absolutely perfect is the fact that the minifig scale Droideka doesn't look that great. LEGO just really struggles with making minifig scale size Droidekas. This one's no different. It's a new design. They tried, but it still doesn't quite work. But overall, like I said, I think this is my personal favorite set of 2024 and just one amazing build. It's truly, truly good. Alright, now before we get into my top 3 LEGO Star Wars sets of 2024, I just wanted to mention that if you made it all the way to this point in the video and are enjoying it, and you want to support the LEGO Star Wars content that I create, please consider subscribing, as that is truly the best way to support my YouTube channel and the videos that I do. Now let's get into my top 3. Wasn't the easiest to make. I debated back and forth a little bit as to the exact order, but here is my final order for the top 3 LEGO Star Wars sets of the year, starting off with the 75394, the Imperial Star Destroyer. This is by far the best play scale Star Destroyer set that I think we've ever gotten. It's truly fantastic. It has such an awesome interior with all these different sections to it. The build is incredibly sturdy. Even though it comes with a carrying handle, it honestly doesn't need it. And I love the play features on the build too, especially the push-pull pin system for the main 4 laser cannons of the Star Destroyer. Having them all face the same way and be able to shuffle back and forth is really cool. Plus, as a display piece, it's fantastic. It actually just works as a standalone display piece and not a playset. So the fact that it has a really great interior, really great play features, and then looks so good on display, the build is a complete home run. Now, when it comes to the minifigs, we have 7 in total, and I absolutely love the fact that none of them repeat. You just get such a nice variety of Imperial troopers in this set, and it would have been easy for LEGO to have removed 1 or 2 of them to give us less variety, and then have just put a couple more stormtroopers in their place, but they didn't do that, and I think it just helps make the set so good. Of course, one of those minifigs is the 25th anniversary Cal Kestis, a character I just thought we'd never get in LEGO Star Wars at this point, but to have him in the set is just truly awesome, and for him to finally have been made. He's not perfect. I know a lot of people complain that he didn't get a poncho, and I really wasn't a fan that he didn't get BD1, but overall, I still think Cal Kestis is a really great 25th anniversary minifig, and overall, this set is truly fantastic. At $160 too, I think the price point is pretty fair and well worth picking up at that retail price, so the Imperial Star Destroyer is an easy number 3 for me. The second best set of 2024 is the 75382 Ultimate Collector Series TIE Interceptor. I really love this $230 price point for the lower priced Ultimate Collector Series sets. I think it overall really works, And this is easily the best LEGO Star Wars display piece of 2024 in my opinion, even more so than the Ultimate Collector Series Jabba Sail Barge. I think on the stand, the way you angle it to match the Ultimate Collector Series X-Wing, it just looks so fantastic. And the build itself is such a great representation of a TIE Interceptor. I think it's pretty much perfect, or as perfect as you could really get it to come across in LEGO Star Wars form at the scale that it is at. Sure, I saw some complaints of people saying that the cockpit isn't as spherical as it could be, but I think it really works and I think it looks totally fine. And then the connection arms that go from the cockpit to the wings aren't as skinny as they should be, but in my opinion, that is such a minor detail. It doesn't really matter when the rest of the build looks so fantastic. Combine that with the TIE Pilot minifig to go on the display stand as well. This is just such a great set and easily the second best set of the year for me. Alright, so now we have one more set left, what I think is the best LEGO Star Wars set of 2024, the 75379 R2-D2. If you would have told me when this set was first rumored that I'd be placing it as the best LEGO Star Wars set of the year, I would have thought you were crazy. When I heard the rumor, I thought that LEGO was just trying to cash in on R2-D2 at a lower price point because we already had one on the shelves and it was pretty fantastic. But this R2-D2 improves upon the old design in every single way. Sure, it's a little bit smaller, but it makes sense because it's scaled to go along beside the C-3PO and buildable Chewbacca, and I'm sure other buildable characters in the future as well. The fact that, too, it was designed to go along beside the C-3PO where you place his hand on top of R2 and be scaled perfectly, those two are such a great display set combination, arguably the two best display sets when they're placed together, in my opinion, that came out of the entire year. Now this R2-D2, like I mentioned, it's a little bit smaller but scaled to go along with all these other buildable characters, but they still improved upon the design. It's the most refined version of R2-D2 that we've ever gotten, plus it's $140 cheaper than the last one. That, I feel like, is just something you can never say about LEGO Star Wars sets, where they make them better in every single way and then reduce the price by over 50% as well. This set is just so much better than the last one and an absolute no-brainer to buy this year if you haven't bought it already. Plus, it comes with the 25th anniversary Darth Malak minifig, and as someone who grew up playing Knights of the Old Republic, that is just such an incredible 25th anniversary minifig to actually get, and LEGO did him phenomenally as well, having all of the just printing on the body, having the printing on the head, the custom molded jaw piece, and then you even get the printing underneath the jaw as well when you take it off. Malak just looks absolutely incredible. He was done just perfectly as well. Overall, this set is just perfectly executed, and like I said, if you haven't purchased it already, I think it is an absolute no-brainer to buy at that $100 price point. It's a must-buy in my opinion, and it's easily the best LEGO Star Wars set of the year. And there you guys have it. That is my complete ranked list of all LEGO Star Wars set releases of 2024, including Brickheadz. If you enjoyed the video and want to see me make more videos in this LEGO Star Wars ranked series, make sure to let me know what kinds you'd like to see me do in the comments down below. And in the comments as well, as I already mentioned, let me know how your list differs from mine. This was all my opinion, so I'm sure you'll have some different thoughts as to what sets were better than others, and of course what set you think is the best of the year. For me, it was easily the R2-D2, but I'd be curious to see what you guys think is the best set of the year. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you on the next LEGO Star Wars ranked video.